Real Madrid aren't collapsing, but they are misaligned. Real Madrid's recent 3-0 win over Athletic Bilbao will be remembered as a strong result. Headlines will frame it as a turnaround. But if you watch the match closely and the weeks leading up to it, the performance tells a different story. This team isn't broken in terms of talent, but it is structurally misaligned, and right now the cracks are being papered over by individual quality. Madrid are conceding too many shots, getting bypassed too easily in midfield, and relying on moments rather than control. Those problems are not isolated, they are connected, and unless they're addressed, results like this will become exceptions, not the norm. The pressing problem starts at the front. The most uncomfortable truth is that Madrid's pressing structure doesn't match its personnel. In modern football, a team can afford one forward who conserves energy defensively. Carrying two is far more difficult. Kylian Mbappé and Vinícius Jr. are both elite attackers, but neither consistently initiates pressure. That forces midfielders to step out, opens passing lanes, and exposes the defensive line. The result is visible in the numbers: shots conceded, XG against, and a team that looks stretched even when winning. This isn't about effort in a moral sense, it's about energy distribution. When the first line doesn't press, the rest of the system compensates and eventually breaks. Selection is undermining tactical logic. Madrid have looked most coherent when players who fully buy into the pressing and movement demands are on the pitch, yet those profiles are often the first to be sacrificed. When system-fitting players are sidelined to guarantee minutes for superstars, the message becomes unclear. Tactical discipline loses authority. The team shifts from a collective unit to a collection of individuals. At a club like Real Madrid, managing egos is part of the job. But when protecting reputation starts to outweigh structural balance, performance inevitably suffers. Too many players occupy the same spaces. The midfield imbalance is another key issue. Before injuries and returns complicated matters, roles were clear. The structure worked. Now, Jude Bellingham and Arda Güler are being asked to coexist in roles that don't naturally complement each other. Güler looks uncomfortable deeper. Bellingham's role changes from match to match, sometimes a 10, sometimes an 8, sometimes a second striker. When players don't know where they're meant to dominate, decision-making slows. The team loses rhythm. Control disappears. This isn't a personnel problem, it's a role definition problem. Two defensive exemptions break the system. The Mbappé-Vinícius pairing poses a dilemma that tactics boards make look simpler than reality. On paper, one stays wide, the other moves central. In practice, both want freedom and both expect defensive protection. As Ernesto Valverde once noted during his time at Barcelona, one non-pressing superstar can be absorbed, two cannot. Against aggressive opponents, Madrid's midfield gets overloaded. Counterattacks lose their edge because the team is already stretched. Control vanishes long before the ball reaches the attackers. Mbappe's goal output justifies his role. Vinícius, however, is struggling for consistency, and reports suggest frustration is growing. When roles and expectations aren't aligned, tension follows naturally. Defensive decline is a symptom, not the cause. The defensive numbers since the Valencia match are alarming, but the collapse didn't start at the back. Injuries, especially the loss of leadership and positional intelligence, have played a role. So has constant reshuffling, but the deeper issue is that the pressing structure that protected the defense earlier in the season no longer functions. When the front line doesn't apply pressure, the midfield gets bypassed. When the midfield gets bypassed, the defense is exposed. Every issue feeds the next. Final verdict. Real Madrid are not rotting from the inside. They are out of sync. The squad is too talented to fail outright, but talent alone doesn't create control. Football at the highest level is about collective effort, clarity of roles, and commitment to a shared structure. Right now, Madrid are relying on the badge and individual moments to win matches. That can carry you for a while, but not through an entire season. If alignment returns, this team can dominate. If it doesn't, no amount of star power will stop the drift. The season won't be defined by how much talent Madrid have. It will be defined by whether they decide to play as one team again.